So Madden dropped a brand new update addressing several things, which include gameplay like coverages, presentation, franchise fixes, superstar mode fixes, ultimate team, audio, and other things that's coming soon in the future. And I'm here to go over several of these things that they have fixed and plan on fixing in the future. Let's start off with the coverages. It says cover 2 Tampa. The middle defender now gets deeper, maintaining better leverage position against deep threats, especially versus 3-by-1 formations. Cover 2 hard flats. Addressed an issue with hard flats where defenders were dropping too deep and too far inside before reacting to flat routes. Defenders now drop more accurately with their zone responsibilities, improving coverage consistently in the shallow flats. Cover 3 match. Logic improvements for defenders when reacting to slot receivers attempting to out-leverage the defense on deep routes. This includes Buzz Mabel and Zone Blitz 3 play calls. Cover 6 and Cover 4 palms. Fixed an issue where outside quarters cornerbacks in Cover 6 and Cover 4 palms were oftentimes losing press, giving up easy touchdowns. We adjusted the cornerback's alignment so they will no longer attempt to press the wide receiver. Zone coverage defenders now drop back quicker when shading over the top. Fixed a post-play animation defect where a defender would do read steps when standing in place after the whistle. Addressed a visual issue around the previous play graphic obscuring the offensive play call formation. That's definitely been annoying and nagging as hell, as I've been playing more online head-to-head games than I ever have since I've been playing Madden. I don't know why, but I've just been into that this year. But one of the most annoying things has been the fact that the play call is completely blocked. All you see is the amount of receivers, tight ends, running backs are in on that formation, but you can't see the actual play call. That's crucial when you're playing and you're trying to defend and make adjustments against other users. So glad they actually finally addressed that. I would have thought that would have been something they addressed a lot sooner. They also linked up with Kirk Benkirk on a custom playbook. So he has a hand-picked playbook that he worked with EA on putting together in the game. It's called Benkirk's Dimes, and it's an offensive playbook. Presentation-wise, it says they added 3 international stadiums to Play Now franchise and Superstar. They added the Dublin Stadium, the Santiago Stadium in Madrid, Spain. I'm not even going to pronounce this last one because I'm probably going to butcher it, but you get the drift. So they added 3 new international stadiums that will be available to you in Play Now, franchise mode, and Superstar mode. It says they fixed some crashes and stability issues, which is typical with a lot of these updates. But let's get into the most important stuff, which is franchise mode. It says address our UI transitions surrounding the player card, reducing the transition time it takes to go into the player card. Resolved an issue allowing commissioners to send multiple league invites simultaneously. Addressed an issue that prevented edge players from adding pass rushing traits. That has definitely been one that I've seen a lot of people complaining about. I seen one YouTuber specifically highlighting the issue with traits and some players not even having traits, and you go into it and then it was showing he was flipping back and forth between like the defensive tackles and defensive ends, and the tackles being able to have pass rush traits, but or something like that. It was like outside linebackers, it was something like that, but the edge rushers couldn't have pass rush traits. It was crazy, but much needed. Glad they addressed that. That definitely was game breaking to some right there. Says addressed an issue during the draft where the draft board was improperly transparent, showing through to the background. Now they also have a few things they say they are aware of and they're working on and should be fixed in the near future. And one of the main things they highlight, the first bullet point, class import process incorrectly modifying player body types, specifically offensive linemen. Let's go. First of all, I want to shout out to the community. I want to shout out to all of the users out there who've actually been watching my videos, my subscribers on YouTube, my followers on TikTok, my followers on Instagram. You guys have been going crazy with those videos that I made this year. You guys have been going crazy. What I intended for those videos to do last year, they've done this year, and people have spammed those videos, shared those videos, tagged EA in those videos, posted them on their forums, so on and so forth, so much this year that they finally address this issue, or that they're finally addressing this issue. It's at least on their radar. Like I said in my video where I was talking about no more draft classes and why, when I broke down how you could use a generic draft class that you don't even touch, you could save it, export it, and then try to import it into that same franchise. And those offensive linemen and defensive tackles, their body types would completely change. I don't know why they only address offensive linemen, but it's defensive tackles as well. But nonetheless, that issue carried over to this year. And I made those videos again. And with over 50,000 views on TikTok, over 28,000 views on Instagram, and over like 10,000 views on YouTube total from the main video and the shorts attached to it, it's finally gotten some traction. I actually had somebody comment on my page saying that he personally spammed the video on EA forums, and now it's finally being addressed. So that is huge. That is huge for me, because that's the reason I made those videos. I didn't make those videos for my channel to go popular. It helps, but I didn't make that for that. I make that because I play the game. I'm a simulation gamer. I have my own franchise, and I like realism, and that is the furthest thing away from realism and immersion. Nobody wants to have offensive linemen running around here built like tight ends and wide receivers. Like that's not cool. That's not cool. So thank God they're finally addressing this, but I hope they're not just addressing offensive linemen. I hope it's defensive tackles as well. This wasn't just a offensive lineman, it was defensive tackle as well. Anybody that's a 300-pounder or more, when you change their body type, they change to a tight end or wide receiver's build. That has to be addressed, and it says they're working on it. We shall see. This should be something that should be in this first patch, or should have been fixed day one. You shouldn't have something like this still in your game when it was in your game in the prior year, and you got all these customers paying all this money for this game. So, but nonetheless, I'm gonna save them some grace, because they at least acknowledged it, that they're working on it. Now, how long it's gonna take them to fix, who knows? We shall see. But it says they're addressing it. Now it says players on IR unable to be peeled off the IR list. Nose tackle archetypes displaying a different overall in the front end. Never seen that before. That's new to me. But superstar mode says fumble rate chance has been decreased in snow games. Fixed an issue where players would play in the wrong position. Fixed a rare issue where players' knees would be invisible during the NFL Combine. Wow, that's terrible. How does that happen? How does that leak out? Several stability fixes. Then there's some ultimate fixes. It says player friend will now respect each individual user's passer settings. Remedied an issue where opening a fantasy pack after a head-to-head game caused visual artifacts during the pack open. Fixed an issue where rewards images failed to appear on some screens. Fixed multiple occasions where players were navigated to the wrong menu. Fixed a text issue where rank down appeared instead of rank up. Fixed an issue where progress in rank was not visually displaying. Fixed multiple occasions of overlapping text. Fixed an occasional crash when returning to lobbies. Items displayed during presentation did not always match their actual rarity. And audio fixes. It says fixed an issue where commentary referred to a few rookies by an incorrect last name. And that wraps up the update. And again, one thing that they didn't address, I mentioned that in my most recent video. One thing they didn't address, and it's not in this update, it was in the update from last week, but they did add an equipment update where you can, with select players, wear tape and shooter sleeves and forearm sleeves and things of that nature on the same arm that you actually wear a quarter sleeve. So they finally updated that. They're finally updating equipment. They did it with a select few players, but in future updates, they're gonna set it for all players. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts and feedback in the comment section. How y'all feel about this update? How y'all feel about the things they said they're gonna fix? Are you excited? Do you feel like there's more that needs to be fixed? So on and so forth. But as always, if you here for the first time or you returning, you haven't liked or subscribed already, please do so. Click that notification tab so you can stay up to speed with more Madden 26 content, whether that be tips, tricks, tutorials, updates, etc. We'll have it here. Again, I appreciate you all for tuning in. That's been my time. Till next time.